The neat thing about standing in front of people, trying to tell you what we did during World War II, because it's been a long time ago, and a lot of my buddies are gone, and I'm thankful to be here standing in front of you. At the beginning, I got drafted in 1943, and then I went to up near Harrisburg, and then I went down to Texas, took basic training down the Army Specialized Training Program, and I went to the University of Illinois for 6 months. Then I went back to the infantry, 104th, and we took training at Camp Carson, and we took advanced training, combat training, took gas mask drills, went into building and into tear gas, took the masks off, put them back on, and it seemed to me that it was a little foolish. We got overseas, we threw all our gas masks away, and there was never any gas use in our outfit, in our war rather. But took basic training in Camp Carson and in Colorado. It was during the summertime, a little warm, but not too bad. And we went overseas in September of '43. We landed in France 3 months after D-Day, and we stayed there and did some odd jobs around the place until they found a place to put us in the line in battle. And we went up to Holland, in Belgium actually, a few miles before the Holland-Belgian border. And we went and relieved a British division, the 49th Polar Bear Division, and they were on our left then, and on their left was a Canadian outfit, and on our right was a Polish outfit. So there are 4 nationalities in one line there in that small country of Holland. Our job was to move the Germans out of Holland so they could use their port of Antwerp. We did that in 3 weeks. And then we were trucked over to Germany. We crossed the border of Germany on my 21st birthday. And later on, I got to vote for the first time. And I've been voting ever since. But we relieved the 1st Division. They had just taken Aachen, and they moved to our right, and we were in the 7th Corps of the 1st Army. We fought our way to the Roar River, and we stopped there because everybody wasn't up in line. And I got a trip to the rear for R&R, and we trucked over to Liège, and we got off the trucks. We were walking around. The MPs came and chased us back to the trucks, and we had to go back to the front line, because that was December the 16th. That was the time the Bulge occurred. So we had to go in defensive alert. We weren't hit. We were a few miles away from the Bulge, but we were considered in the Bulge because we were on active defense. We were there till January the 23rd. We crossed the Roar River, and the Germans had blown up the dams of Bulge at the headwaters of the river, and this became a roaring torrent. And we had to wait a while for it to go down. It had been the size of the Tully, and then after they blew up the dams, it became the size of the Mississippi. Pretty big and very fast water. So we crossed that on February the 23rd at 3 o'clock in the morning. Can you imagine crossing a river in the dark, in the cold of February? We got across, one boat got swept downstream, And our captain told us to paddle upstream, aim the boat upstream, and that would take us right across. It worked, except for that one boat. And we got over to the other side, and turned around, went in backwards, almost knocked us out of the boat. But we made it, and we had no casualties. I think the boat that got swept down got riddled by the Germans, but they got through it okay. We got over the river, and we had to secure the place, and we put. That's where one buddy who was a machine gunner. I was a staff sergeant in charge of the machine guns. We put him on one of the flanks. Well, 2 machine gun outfits were on either flank, and he got hit in the throat by shrapnel. A good buddy of mine, and never saw him again. I heard from him afterwards, but he wouldn't come to any of our reunions. He said he has nothing for the Army. I was going to yell at him. Well, it's not about the Army, it's about the people in the Army. Anyway, it was his belief. But I think the fact that we got across, we were the first ones to get across, and we had to wait there until our flanks came over. And then our captain interrogated one of the Germans who could speak English. We had captured about 6 of them. And this German prisoner said that our next objective was about a mile away, and they had zigzag trenches in front with machine guns in, and they had mines in the field in front of the town, and they said there were 10,000 teller mines. I don't know, I didn't count them, but it was amazing that we got through there, because while we were waiting to go across the minefield, they found a path through the minefield that the Germans' trucks used to deliver the mines. So our captain said, go follow that path, and so we did. We followed the path that the trucks had used, and there were no mines on there, but there were some mines on the side of the path that the Germans got lazy and just laid them back there. So we all got through except one guy stepped off the trail and stepped on a mine and lost a foot. And we understand he was Mexican and didn't understand the instructions. So we got to this town, captured 300 prisoners, and we're on our way to Cologne. We got to Cologne, and it has a big church there with twin steeples. And the last foreign army was the Romans in 415. They captured Cologne. And our regiment's number was 415. So we were the next foreign troops to get into Cologne. Well, it wasn't bad there. We got up to the Rhine. We didn't know how we were going to cross that. There's steep banks down through. How are we going to get our boats down the Rhine? So we were waiting around there a while. While we were waiting, some of our Greenhorn troops were walking around looking for souvenirs, and they found a pile of Panzerfaust. Those has a rocket in front of it and by the tanks. So one guy, newer guy, trying to show the new recruits how this thing worked. So he pulled it up. There's no rocket in it. He pulled the trigger, and the blast went out the back and hit the guy in the face in the back and killed him. So even when there's no fighting, you have casualties. When you get young kids around explosives, bad things can happen. But we stayed in Cologne about a week, and then they captured the bridge at Remagen, and they sent us down there. By the time we got down, they had the engineers had built pontoon bridges, across the Rhine, and we drove across in trucks. Felt like we were on a tourist going into Germany. So we got on the other side. They set up a front there, and we went up one side of the Ruhr Valley. The 9th Army went up the other side of the Ruhr Valley, and we captured 250,000 troops, the last viable troops of the German army. So from there we went over and wound up in Halle, Germany. And we stayed there for a while. But on the way there we came to a concentration camp. And we found a lot of people there, half dead, and our outfit wasn't in that line, but our medics had to go in there and determine who was living and who was alive before they pulled anybody out. And recently, on maybe 10, 15 years ago, on our web page, 104th, two French ladies, one from France and one from Carolinas, I wanted to thank the Timberwolves for freeing their fathers from Nordhausen. So if it wouldn't be for that, they wouldn't be here. Because a lot of Frenchmen were taken near the end of the war. So we got through that, and we got to Halle, and we were on the Mulde River. I even took a victory lap in the water. I didn't swim around. I just tread water, and I didn't want to be shot by my trigger-happy guys. We had orders to not let any Germans come over on our side. They were trying to get away from the Russians. So I just took a brief dip. So we had to wait there to find out where we were going to go. There's this VA sign. VE Victory in Europe was signed, and we had to wait to find out where we were going. And transportation home. We got on a boat in July, I believe, and we passed the Statue of Liberty coming back, and it was a great sight. And we were home in Fellow for 30 days. While we were home in August of that year, Japan surrendered. For one thing, the atomic bomb was dropped twice, and they surrendered. So we were out in California, ready to go over to invade them. They expected quite a few million casualties, and we were saved by the atomic bomb. Harry Truman dropped it. So we stayed out in California, and then you got enough points, you got discharged right away. I didn't have enough points, so I had to wait till December to go home. And got home beginning of December, and Christmas I gave my girlfriend a ring, and then we got married the following October. So that was the end of my war experience. But ever since then, every year we go have a reunion for the 104th, and we go to different states, different cities, and our next one's going to be in Ohio. And I think the idea of getting together with people, is very important. I like it, and I've been overseas 6 times on battlefield tours. We start in Holland, where we start fighting, and we wind up in Halle, Germany, by bus. And it's quite neat to go back where you were fighting and to go back on a trip like this. We, somehow or other, the GIs of 104th Division, an Infantry Division. I met some people I knew, and we get together on reunions, we go out to eat, and we have a good time. We lost a lot of our people since then, of course, through age thing. I have a little poem here I want to read. This is called Love Forged by the Horrors of War. Why veterans reunite. I know now why men who have been in war yearn to reunite, not to tell stories or look at old pictures, not to laugh or weep. Comrades gather because they long to be with the men who once acted at their best and who suffered and sacrificed, who were stripped of their humanity. I did not pick these men. They were delivered by fate in the military. But I know them in a way I know no other men. I've never given anyone such trust. They were willing to guard something more precious than my life. The memory of me, it was part of the bargain we all made. The reason we were willing to die for one another. As long as I have memory, I will think of them all, every day. I'm sure that when I leave this world, my last thoughts will be on my family and my comrades. Such good men. Any questions? A lot of frozen feet and frozen bodies. So it was winter time and it was snow in the ground, and they said it was the coldest winter in Europe ever. And these people were outside. We were lucky. We were living in farmhouses, on the line, but we had made. But yeah, it was very cold, and we missed it by a few miles. But glad we missed it. We had, like I said, I was on 6 overseas tours, and I get our webpage, 104th webpage, gets a lot of messages from Holland and France. Most of them are in English, but if they're in French, you have a translation button to push. But we were happy to hear from these people, and I haven't been over since. That was a few years ago, but we were scheduled to go one the other year, and then they had these shootings all around, and they canceled, and so they never came back to go over. I know I've been over 6 times, but some of my buddies have never been over, and they wouldn't have liked to have gone. But that's the fortunes of war, I guess. I think length of life is determined by the individual. I think. I think I live by the code. You feel good about yourself and feel good about others, and that will get you a long way. That's about the only thing I can say. And try not to see any doctors. But I go to the dentist and I go to the eye doctor. In fact, I'm having cataract surgery in a couple of weeks. But they claim that's not a big deal. But otherwise, I was one of 5 guys in our company that didn't get a scratch. That means no shrapnel, no nothing. There was an incident in Holland where our sergeant got killed. He stuck his head over the dike at night, and he got shot in the head. So I became staff sergeant. My buddies didn't want it as to what happened. And then later on in Holland, we had to dig foxholes. You could only dig so deep because of the water level. So I came back from latrine, I guess you call it, and in my foxhole was lying a shell, dud, right in my foxhole. If I would have been there, it would have smarted, but I was upset that they had my foxhole zeroed in to put a shell right in there. But that was one of my fortunate escapes. But I think there are a lot of people that weren't so fortunate.